grass is green, the sky is blue. It's a great day to be alive and a great day for high school soccer, and that's what we have for you here on ETV. In fact, we've got an absolute stunner of a matchup here between the Rosemount Irish and the Eagan Wildcats, coming to you live from Wildcat Stadium, located on the campus of Eagan High School here in Eagan, Minnesota. The Rosemount Irish, the defending state champion Rosemount Irish in AAA, Class 3A, have come north on Trunk Highway number 3 to take on the Wildcats here at Wildcat Stadium. This will be the first and only regular season meeting between these two sides. I am Nathan Cron. I'm joined by my broadcast partner Skip Newton and an award-winning ETV crew, and we'll meet very shortly. And Skip, the Wildcats are coming off of a couple of outings, one against the Minnetonka Skippers where they didn't look so good, taking on a very tough team. Then, of course, the Eastview Lightning were here on Tuesday. They notched a 1-0 win there. But this is a big game, not only on the calendar, on the schedule, but in the psyche, in the minds of these Wildcats.
Yeah, it's been a while since the Eagan Wildcats have been able to come up into a matchup with the Rosemount Irish and come out as the winners. I mean, it's been the section championship 3 years ago, last time Eagan won 1-0, and since then it's been all Rosemount, a very talented squad. Of course, they lost quite a few extremely talented players from last year's championship team. That said, the roster is still full of talented players. They've got 2 freshmen, both younger sisters of graduated players, and then an 8th grader. So we'll keep an eye on them. Skylar Heimerall, Kendall Great, and Nora Martin is the 8th grader. Eagan they need to step up, and they need to play better today than they have in the last week, and really just find a way to come out with a win to give themselves a lot of confidence, to go into the rest of the conference season.
Wildcats certainly could do themselves a favor and start on the front foot. We'll set your lineup in just a moment. As Josie Seehafer, number 18 for the Wildcats, brings it down into the penalty area. She sends it towards net and it just flares over the top. Crafty little shot that time by Seehafer. Norwick, Thompson, Wimberly, Johnson, Heimerl, McGill, Great, Zimmer, Wessel, Gilbertson, and Martin are your starters for the Rosemount Irish. For the Wildcats, it's Fall, Anna Enning, and Cassie Turner in the back, with Natalie Valaga playing keeper. The ball's going to find its way into touch. Set the rest of the Wildcat lineup for you. Inga Jolstrom at midfield, along with Kira Waldrop, along with Mallory Jensen and Olivia Enning. As that free kick comes in, a foul call there. That was a really soft-looking foul.
By going back to that shot by number 18 there on the right side, Seehafer, that was a sneaky shot. Had that been headed for the corner instead of just wide, that was over the top of the head of the goalkeeper, Norwick, for Rosemount. Interesting. I think higher shots might be a possibility for Eagan. Just based on that one, I know it's really early. It's a small sample size, but that was an intriguing trajectory. It almost went in.
Well, neither keeper on this field, either Valaga or Norwick, are especially tall or long, and so high shots might find their way. As you saw Kendall Great down the sideline with a nice cross for the Irish just a few minutes ago. And, of course, we have Weisendonner, Seehafer, and Leitenberg, your standard forward complement for the Wildcats over the last handful of games. Wildcats come into this game having beaten Eastview after taking their first loss of the season. Weisendonner chips that over to Waldrop. This ball comes up over the top. Norwick going to be comfortably out for it. Seehafer's going to make sure that she fields it.
That would have been a great ball if there had been some communication or something between Waldrop and Seehafer would have started that run just a step or two earlier, because it was delivered perfectly, but she was not anticipating it, so she didn't actually take off until the ball was kicked. But she had a good 5 yards or so between her and that last defender. She could have left a little earlier had she known that was what Waldrop was going to do.
The ball comes into the penalty area. It's a one header. It's played there by Jolstrom, put out by Enning. And the Wildcats will regroup.
Irish roster tonight are number 15, Alana Rudall, sophomore defense. Number 10, Paige Wilson, junior midfield.
Big opportunity for the Wildcats taking on the defending state champions. Also a big opportunity for the Rosemount Irish, the players that are here. We've got a foul here as Weisendonner is sent to the turf, but a big opportunity here for the Irish to demonstrate that despite losing 10 of 11 starters off of last year's state champion squad, they are going to be a force to be contended with here in AAA, in Class AAA girls soccer. Falls for Seehafer. She's looking for Leitenberg on the far side. It's blocked. Jensen. Jolstrom over the top. I imagine Seehafer is going to get to that ball, and she does. She knew she was offside. Referee was just waiting to see if she was going to touch it, and that's fine.
She just could not resist temptation. She even stopped and looked over at the referee. She's like, "Oh, I have to. It's right here." That was actually pretty funny by Seehafer. I enjoyed that.
Big test for the Wildcats is a nice pullback there and turn by Gilbertson. This ball gets fed through, but Valaga gobbles it up quickly. Big test for the Wildcats, Skip. Can they take advantage of opportunities? You would say that against Eastview, their 1-0 win earlier this week, I think it's fair to say Wildcats did not take advantage of opportunities. They had a number of corner kicks, a number of opportunities to get balls on net and did not do it. As great takes Enning down the sideline. And you wonder, Skip Newton, if in fact the Rosemount, I mean, if the Wildcats have that mentality of we have to, every opportunity to score is a precious one.
Yeah, there might be some of that. I think that's a good point. You know, they need to pick up the intensity when they get it in that attacking third and really, you know, take it up just one more notch to make sure they get those good scoring opportunities. You know, we talked about Rosemount losing a lot of talent but still being talented. You know, they're coming into this game with 26 goals scored. So they're still able to be a high-powered attack and put the ball in the net. So it'll be a test for the Eagan defense. But to your point, they need to step up and take care of opportunities like this one.
And Jolstrom's ball finds Seehafer off of Weisendonner's head. Seehafer gets a right foot to it, slides it across. But to her credit, Emily Norwick, nicely done, gobbling that up as Ava Leitenberg was lurking at the back post. And that's the kind of opportunity that the Wildcats that was a quality opportunity, and they didn't have as many of those against Eastview. When they did, they didn't always take advantage, Skip. And you wonder if the Wildcats just understand how important it is to make sure these balls are on net and that real opportunities come to fruition.
Yeah, if that pass across is just another foot or two farther away from the goal line, from, you know, the diving play of Norwick, it's outside her reach, and that might be a tap-in goal.
Rosemount Irish last game, they played Prior Lake, who the Wildcats have already seen this year. They played Prior Lake on Tuesday, winners 2-1. Their next game is at Stillwater. I am going to go out of my way and say that there is no chance that the Rosemount Irish are overlooking the Wildcats because they're playing the Ponies on, is it Saturday? Yes, Saturday. I will say that, although there's always a chance with athletes that there's a tendency to do that. Isn't there, Skip?
There is, and I actually wondered about that, you know, thinking back to Tuesday night. I was expecting the Wildcats to come out and really look like the superior and more aggressive team after that disappointing loss to the Minnetonka Skippers last Saturday. And some of the times I felt like the effort was there, but not as intensely as I was expecting. And it made me wonder, knowing that Rosemount was next on the docket, were they looking ahead to this game?
Run down the side by Nora Martin. Check it, that's not Martin. That is Sydney Gilbertson. Rosemount in the white with navy blue numbers. Wildcats in blue with white numbers. Battle there in the penalty area as Val got quickly off of her line. She needed to be, as one of the Irish was lurking. It was number 7, Skylar Heimerl.
The Heimerl name, of course, older sister Taylor, I believe, at the University of Minnesota. Of course, wishing her luck at my alma mater, the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. But here I thought we were done with the Heimerals. Been dealing with her for so long. Now we get another 4 years of that name at Irish soccer. So the battle continues.
Leitenberg picks the pocket of the defense. Stolen back. Good team defense and cover there by the Irish. Otherwise, Leitenberg was going to be off to the races. That ball is going to find its way into touch. And already you can see the character of this game, the story that's being told. The Wildcats starting well, Skip Newton. They're starting not poorly at all, that's for sure.
Yeah, so far, so good. They definitely look like they can play with the Irish. I mean, they're not dominating the game yet, but they've had more good scoring opportunities, you know, early on, and, you know, we're just 9 minutes in, but it's a good start. It's a good sign.
Ending dispossessed, and now great with it on the outside. She puts a left foot to it. Defensive header away by Waldrop. Comes back to great. Jolstrom battling there. Nice job, Inga Jolstrom. She looks for Weisendonner. Weisendonner has a great left foot. She's going to put that over the top. She's going to find Leitenberg. Leitenberg with the track speed down the sideline, around the defense, in on goal, shoots on goal, and a great save that time by Norwick. That was a quality shot by Leitenberg with her left foot, and we'll have a corner.
As you mentioned, Leitenberg with that track speed, and she uses it so well. She knew she was far enough away from the goal where she could take a long touch and still get there first. And, of course, once she gets the ball out in front of her far enough, then she can really run faster and utilize that speed.
Jensen over it, sends it in towards goal. Somebody gets ahead to it, but it comes out towards Enning. Gilbertson steps around Enning, and now Enning is playing chase.
Thought Enning had a chance there to be a little more aggressive in the box and step up. She hesitated and waited, ended up kind of letting the Rosemount Irish player get control of a bouncing ball, or she could have stepped up and maybe won that while it was still bouncing. Curious
cross by Great. I've rarely seen a cross literally roll 30 yards, 40 yards across a field. It was just nobody on that half of the field, and so obviously none of the Irish are making a run, but neither of the Wildcats weren't there either. And Fall puts it into touch, probably didn't need to as she had Leitenberg in front of her, but in any event, Gilbertson with it now. She's going to turn, lay it off for one of her teammates. The defense there on the corner, and Valga scoops that up. Still early, 0-0. Just over 10 minutes gone here in the first half. Wildcats and Irish from Wildcat Stadium, the first and only meeting, regular season meeting, I should say, between these two clubs, these sides, these schools. Fall and Waldrop trying to get their signals straight, and Waldrop fires it right into McGill.
Because we've talked about the importance of this game, not only in the conference standings, both teams tied for first place at 2-0, and I believe it's Lakeville South is up there with them, I want to say. One of the two Lakevilles, I apologize, I'm forgetting, so I have a 50-50 chance of being right. But the winner not only goes 3-0 if these teams do produce a winner, not a draw, but they're in the same section, and so that's huge for section seedings as well.
Good switch by Jolstrom, finds Enning. Enning absolutely gets taken apart that time and undressed by Kendall Great. Enning has got to get that ball off of her feet faster, and Great was hot on her trail. Fortunately, it goes out for Enning, her younger sister, to have a throw. We're going to see a substitution as Jolstrom's going to be withdrawn, and Fetzich will come on. Jolstrom with a nice switch of the field, which resulted in this sequence. Another opportunity missed by the Wildcats. The ball went straight off of Seehafer's boot out into the touch. Rosemount Irish certainly no strangers to success in this arena. They've been successful here the last 2 years, a 4-0 record over the last 2 seasons between playoff wins and regular season wins. So this ball comes in from Seehafer, looking for Jensen, who had been making a run. It falls for Weisendonner. Can she unleash the left foot? She does, but it's straight at Norwick. Good shot, just didn't trouble Norwick.
I believe the defensive player had taken out a lot of her angle to try and come back towards the near post for us, and so it was really easy for Norwick to put herself in a position to cover really the only shooting lane that Weisendonner had.
Wildcats have really made their, if you want to say, scored their goals, made their money, made their bread, however you want to describe it. Really a lot of success around the edges. Leitenberg and Seehafer have often had real speed and quickness advantages over the outside backs for most clubs as Enning turns it over.
Yeah, she thought.
Oh, but it lands back to Jensen, who promptly almost turns it over, gets it back. Fortunate there. All over the top from Waldrop. It's going to find Seehafer. She's going to have one-on-one. We'll see what she does with it. Tries to squeeze it through. That ball does find its way to Norwick, but again, opportunity where the Wildcats had the ball near the edge of the penalty area, Skip Newton, and no result. No end product to see.
Yeah, they were trying to force it up through a bunch of defenders. They had a couple players in there as well. It's really tough to navigate that kind of space when there's so many legs and feet in there to deflect either shots or passes.
Turner's going to put that into touch, and we will let the Wildcats reset as Johnson comes forward from her defensive position to take that throw. Ball bounces a couple of times. That ball's going to find its way over the end line. That's going to be the first corner opportunity for the Rosemount Irish here Turner did not need to head it out over the end line.
Ball over the end
She
line
had some
off the
space.
left-hand corner kick for the Irish. This will be their first in the
Another
game.
example where the
on near
Wildcats are
side.
giving the Irish perhaps an early opportunity, probably their best chance of the game so far.
On the
Gilbertson
kick,
over it.
Sydney Gilbertson, number 16.
Bounces through a couple of bodies, finds Waldrop, who sends it out towards Leitenberg. Leitenberg gets a nice clearance for Weisendonner. Weisendonner with her back to the goal. Does that well, lays it off for fall for Waldrop. And now the Wildcats connect a handful of passes, and they're out into the midfield. Until it's taken away from Enning. Ball's going to be up and over the top. Imagine that Valaga will play that. She does. Causing a little bit of consternation in the fans here. Seehafer played that ball away. Weisendonner wondering what Seehafer was thinking there, I think.
Well, that was one of those opportunities where the nice over-the-top pass by the Rosemount Irish, and I even heard one of their fans yelling, "Go, go, go!" And the Irish forward was waiting for that ball, kind of looking over the head. You need to be a little more aware there. You don't have to wait. Once the ball's kicked, you can take off. She probably would have won that ball. Thankfully for
Substitution
Eagan,
for the Irish into the game is Paige
Valaga
Wilson,
came
number
out,
10.
came past the
Going
box
off
where she
is
couldn't use her
number
hands and did a
21,
nice
Nora
job,
Martin.
getting a chest on the ball, keeping it in front of her so she could clear it out.
Belsky and one other player who's not on our roster. Trying to figure out who that is at halftime, number 10. Checking in for the Irish. Jensen battles it there, and it's going to have a push, I think, on Jensen. Might have been a handball.
Foul
Not sure.
called
Yeah, I'm
on
not
the
sure if that was a
Wildcats.
foul or
Free
handball,
kick
but
for the Irish.
regardless, not a whole lot of fouls in this game, but the ones have been called have been pretty tight.
On the kick is Ava Thompson, number 3.
Which team does that benefit, Skip? Do you think it benefits the Wildcats, perhaps, or does it benefit the Irish?
I know I haven't seen enough of the Irish yet in this game to know how that might impact their style. But speaking to the Wildcats, I think that's a good thing for Eagan. I think, typically we are not an overly physical team. We rely on speed, especially the outsides, to generate scoring opportunities. So if they're going to call it tight and the other team is more physical than us, then in theory they should be called for more fouls, and I like how that might result.
Here's a battle between Seehafer and Johnson. Good no call probably there by both, as both players had a good handful of the other. And we'll renew that battle here as Johnson and Seehafer again go at it. Now Fetzich, almost with an apologetic tap to Seehafer. She finally does switch the field. Crafty then. Waldrop with an opportunity. She's got a little bit of room. She's going to shoot from distance. Great block that time by Wessel. That ball might have been on net. Lay off there from Enning. Finds Jensen. I'm not sure why Jensen went back to the middle. It looked like maybe she had room in front of her.
Yeah, it looked to me like she wanted to get that back to her right foot, and that's where when you're in a chance to shoot, you play favorites with regards to your strong or weak foot. You have to take what's given to you, and she had a wide open lane going to her left.
It's a great tackle from behind by Ava Leitenberg, not nearly as dramatic as Eddie Couture's has been, and we're going to have a rub there by Ava Leitenberg.
Whistle, foul called on the Wildcats.
Leitenberg's going to get a push, or I should say commit the push in the back. Substitutions
Free
for
kick
the
for
Wildcats.
the Irish.
Looks like Westerman and Tanner
Number
are
3,
looking
Ava
to check
Thompson
in.
on the kick.
So far, the Wildcats are doing an outstanding job of placing balls either through the defenders or over the top so that they can run onto it with their speed. We've seen a few examples, this not being one of them. That was much too hard struck, but we've seen a lot of balls placed correctly where Norwick, the goalkeeper for the Irish, hasn't had a chance to come out and play that.
Ball finds its way to the midfield. Fetzich can't run it down. And they're going to have a foul against the Irish. As you said, Skip, it was a little tight. Referee was waiting to see if Advantage would play with Seehafer, but Seehafer just kind of demurred with it on the far side. I should say near side. Ball finds Jensen, who loses it. Imagine the team that takes care of the ball better in the midfield is going to have the much better chance of success, as now the Wildcats are outnumbered. Fall had stepped up and her player has passed her. Fall recovers, and it's a very deep throw right near the corner flag for the Irish.
That was a great recovery by Fall. She had stepped up because she had to play the girl with the ball, and of course a nice overlapping run on the outside there by the Irish. A good pass to send her off to the races, and Fall caught up and didn't even allow a shot or a pass. Well played. I'm even more impressed that it didn't result in a corner kick.
Tanner, number 7.
Tanner and Westerman do check in for the Wildcats as Leitenberg sends that into touch a little farther up, allowing the Wildcat defense to reset. Irish look like they're playing 4 at the back as well. 2 in the middle. Leitenberg fumbles it a little bit, gets it back, finds Westerman. Westerman, the freshman sensation for this Wildcat team, has scored a couple of goals this season. Seehafer. Leitenberg. Westerman with a nice turn. It's over the top. Here's Fetzich making a run. That ball was just not going to get through. Tanner's going to pressure. Fetzich bravely up from her midfielder, holding midfield spot to try to play some offense there, and that ball was just too close to the defense.
One of the reasons why Eagan has had some success in the ability to deliver those balls where they want to the front line is they're getting some space in the midfield when they get the ball. There's not immediate aggressive pressure, what I will say is typical of the past 2-3 years that we've seen from the Irish. So maybe a result of them not having quite the high level talent that they've had in previous years.
Break for the Irish. They send it in, comes across the net, comes off the Wildcats. Malaga didn't get touched to it. The Wildcat defense got caught napping. As it looked like Skylar Heimerl was all by herself. And that ball is going to be off of everybody. I should say off of somebody in blue. And there's going to be another corner here for the for the Irish.
Corner kick for the Irish. Their second.
Real defensive breakdown for the Wildcats there, as there was an overlapping run and nobody stepped back. Waldrop was several yards behind the flying Heimerl. Gilbertson with it, sends it in. It's chipped away or tripped up in the air anyway. It's on net, off of Westerman's chest. Nicely done not to commit the handball penalty, and now Leitenberg will counter. Leitenberg looking for Tanner. Tanner's going to have to get to win this race first. She does. Tries to lay it off for Westerman, but it comes to nothing.
Yeah, tough position there for a counterattack for the Wildcats. They did a good job of clearing the zone, but Tanner got the ball and literally had nowhere to go with it. Her back is to the Rosemount goal. She received a long pass. She had nobody in the middle because we were still, recovering from defending the corner.
Seehafer cuts to the middle, slides it for Tanner. Tanner took her eye off the ball, but now she recovers. She's got it on her right foot, stumbles, and that's a goal kick. I think Tanner's saying it was off of Molly Miller.
That pass was so good, Tanner didn't even know it was there. That was a brilliant pass.
Yeah, it was a nice pass. It's unlucky for Tanner. She was unable to take advantage. Under 17 minutes to go, still 0-0. To give you a sense of the differences between the squads from this year and last year, by now the Wildcats would be down by a couple of goals against last year's Rosemount team. Right now, I would say the Wildcats are probably the better of the two teams on the field, but not by much.
Definitely for the first 9-10 minutes, Eagan was putting the pressure on, getting more scoring opportunities. We've seen a couple of runs with a couple of corner kicks for the Irish here in the last 10 minutes, so maybe a slight shift. Maybe they're more worked into the game. It's pretty even at this point, but so far both teams playing well.
Maybe Wessel, number 14, with the kick.
Wessel puts it in play. It finds Waldrop's forehead. Heimerl will battle for it there, and Heimerl will commit the foul. So, as you said, Skip Newton, that's the 6th foul against the Irish here in the first 24 minutes of this half. 3 fouls against the Wildcats, so they're 9 fouls in total. It's actually a lot of little touch fouls, but as you say, very, very, very tightly called.
One of the ways a team can be successful is adjusting to that. You adjust to what the other team is doing, but you also adjust to how the referees are calling the game. And if they're calling it tight, you need to play less physical. You still need to play smart. You still need to get your body in good position, but you need to understand that if you do things that normally you feel like you could get away with, you might not in this effort.
Enning dispossessed. That ball's going to be into touch. Luckily for Enning, as she was dispossessed and then was able to at least create the throw in, but Wildcats need to be careful with the balls. Did that ball come in? It did come in and went back out promptly.
And substitution for the Irish in the game, number 25.
Johnson waits to take that throw.
Going off, number 4,
Narlock
Wimberly.
checking in for Wimberly. This finds Enning. Now Waldrop. She's got a bit of space in front of her. Now she takes on a defender. Continues to have some more space. Be interesting to see what she does here with this one. As that ball finds its way now into touch. The Wildcats will have a throw from about 30 yards out.
Looked like Waldrop wasn't quite sure where to go. She didn't have anybody really moving that she could do a lob over the top to or a through ball, so she just kept using the open space until she finally ran out of it.
And it really needs to be, for the Wildcats, really needs to be a more concentrated, concerted effort to communicate and take, build each other up and use each other's runs and positioning. At this point, there's just a little bit of indecision as to what's next or what people are doing. That ball comes back to Valaga. Valaga will give it to Enning, who has 20 yards of space. Didn't need to pass it there. It was a risky pass, and it's taken away by the Irish. Fall with it quickly. But the Irish maintain possession. Fetsic battles in the middle. And the pickleball championships of the world continue as that ball goes back and forth. Here's a ball that goes definitely the wrong way for the Wildcats, but fortunately has enough on it, and on this turf, Great was unable to run that down.
Eagan having a little bit tougher of a time here connecting passes, especially in the middle third. That was something they were doing quite successfully in the first 10 to 15 minutes, but now it feels like more just booting the ball in the general direction that they want to go in, but not passing it with a purpose.
Cron checking in for Enning. Defense on the near side. Cron with a nice throw down. Good header that time by Tanner. Ball falls for Martin. Shifts it around for Narlock. Good turn in the middle that time by Great, but she's dispossessed. Tanner lays off for Westerman. Westerman did not get the touch on it she wanted, but now she'll continue the run. Leitenberg wasn't able to get it back to her. It's just an example, Skip, of where the Wildcats, they even when they have a plan, it hasn't come off for them. As here's an opportunity for Seehafer. She's not shy. She's going to go to goal. 1v2, runs for the end line, crosses over, but nobody there in blue on the back edge. Leitenberg might save this, and she does. Comes in, finds its way in, but falls for Westerman, who can't get a foot on it.
Seehafer showed a little frustration after that cross, wondering why her teammates hadn't gotten into position. I mean, in her defense, it took her a while to make that run around. I mean, her teammates had plenty of time to see what she was doing and where the resulting cross, would likely be, and just nobody was there.
Another opportunity for Seehafer in the corner. She finds a left foot, finds Westerman. Westerman, opportunity. Here's Weisendotter, and Weisendotter paused. Kylie Weisendotter with her hands to her head, wondering what she has to do, and the answer is get the shot off faster. It's almost like she didn't expect the ball. We've seen Weisendotter score so many times from this booth, as she's played on this team now for 3 years, but she wants that one back, Skip Newton.
She had it. I mean, she hesitated, but still put a shot on. She just didn't get it, I think, where she wanted. She needed to pass that one to one of the corners, and she didn't get it out of the reach of Norwick. Another diving play by the goalkeeper for the Irish.
Fetsic with it, finds Weisendotter. We'll see if there's a redemption story here for Kylie Weisendotter. She tries to slide it through to Tanner. Weisendotter will be kicking herself that she wasn't able to make more of that one. That being said, we have seen, as I said, we've seen her quality several times here on this pitch. Comes for fall, Fetsic. Now Weisendotter. Irish clear, and that will be sent well back to Valaga, who sends it, switches fields to fall. Fall didn't have anybody making a run north. Everyone was coming back to her. You get a sense that maybe there should at least be one Wildcat going the other way to give the player bringing up the ball the option of putting it over the top. Nicely done that time by Isabella Fall, using the body to screen, looking for Leitenberg over the top. And Leitenberg and Seehafer have played the entire first half. Irish looking for a call. Referee Zachariah Ali is telling the Irish to get up. There's no call there.
That was a brilliant defensive play there by number 6, Ella Johnson. She saw she was one-on-one, Ella being the last defender, and just as the ball was going to be kicked, she stepped forward to put Seehafer in an offside position. Nicely done there. Had she not made that play, that likely would have resulted in a breakaway.
Tanner and Westerman come together. Just opportunity for better communication. The ball finds its way over the top of Isabella Fall, and Waldrop almost turns it over, but luckily Leitenberg is able to grab the rebound. I almost get the sense the Wildcats, Skip Newton, are just trying to be a little too cute. Instead of keeping it simple, hit a ball long, let your superior speed around the edges get onto it. As the Irish are breaking up a lot of things in the midfield. There's a ball over the top, but nobody's moving at the time that Fall hits that ball.
Yeah, that was a little too quick. I don't think the forwards had a time to react to what was going to happen there.
Turner with a deep throw finds Fall. Fall has a chance to turn.
That was a nice touch.
Good touch by Weisendonner. We've seen her do that several times in that center forward position. She has been so effective. This ball comes up over the top for Turner. She plays it off. Cron on number 9. That ball is up and in, off the crossbar, hit Valaga, and in for Kendall Great. In the 32nd minute, the Irish strike first. And frankly, that ball should never have been shot. There were 2 Wildcat defenders.
A great shot, a great finish, and we've been talking about that, quite a bit, these last few games here for the Wildcats, and it shows itself here today. I mean, the Rosemount has not outplayed Eagan by any stretch, but they get one good scoring opportunity and they absolutely bury it. A diving save initially, but it goes off the crossbar and then bounces off the back of Valaga and goes into the net. Not even really a defensive mistake, in my opinion. It's just they took advantage of their one opportunity, and Egan's had much more opportunities, and they haven't finished.
Number 7, Skylar Heimerl.
Well, the Wildcats certainly now have a bit of a mountain to climb, as they have not. While they have had some comebacks this season,
scored by Kendall
Rosemount Irish have taken the lead here against the Wildcats. Seehafer tries to slide it through, but nobody, again, couldn't quite get on that. Now Fetzich steps up quickly. Seehafer again will get it on her foot, sends it in left foot for Westerman. Westerman tries to go negative, but can't. Now to Weisendonner. Good reaction so far from the Wildcats, conceding the goal, as you said, from Great from Dwyer in the 32nd minute. Okay, I'm being told it was actually Skylar Heimerl's goal.
Skylar Heimerl had the assist. Great, you were right on Great. Okay. So once again, Heimerl and Great haunting the Eagan Wildcats as they have for years.
Needs to be a little bit of cohesion here. The Wildcats just turning the ball over to the Irish. Someone needs to settle them down, and the best person to do that is probably a senior captain like Kira Waldrop. Cron, steadying influence in the back. Finds Weisendonner, much withdrawn from her forward position. Ball's over the top, but doesn't get over the top. Nice job that time by Thompson, senior captain. This ball finds its way into the lap of Wimberly. Wildcats looking a little bit disconnected after initially I thought maybe having a nice response to the goal. Next game for the Wildcats on the 16th against Shakopee. That's the next set too. Actually, it's not the 18th. It's the 18th. It's next Tuesday against Shakopee. The Wildcat girls do not have a game on Saturday. Wildcat boys will be playing at St. Thomas Academy. So Waldrop sends that for Seehafer, who manages to get through to it, steps over, now looks for a runner.
Tough pass there for Josie. Really had nowhere to put that ball. She just centered it in the general vicinity, but it looked like, I believe it was Weisendoner was double teamed, and there was no chance of that thing getting through. Of course, Seehafer was also being double teamed, so she probably felt she needed to do something.
Heimerl and Turner go shoulder to shoulder. Turner getting probably the worser end of that, but the ball goes into touch. Beginning to wonder if the Wildcats wouldn't be well served, instead of trying to have short passes near the 18, just blasting it across and looking for some sort of rebound or some sort of deflection.
Yeah, we talked about earlier that shots from distance, high shots, that make it under the crossbar might be successful, much like it was for Great on her goal. I'd like to see Eagan try that. They need to start shooting a little bit more from distance just to see if that can't change things up a bit.
Westerman in. Two Wildcats have an opportunity there against Johnson, and neither one can get it. This ball finds its way back to Valaga. Good defense screening off the runners that time by the back line. Just under 3.5 minutes here to go in the first half. Score 1-0 to the favor of the Irish. 32nd minute goal by Great with Heimerl on the assist. Cron looks for Tanner. Couldn't find her. There's an opportunity for Seehafer. Nice interception that time by Seehafer. Cron has a chance at it, but that rolls off of her leg. And the Irish maintain possession. Seems like the Wildcats need to do something coordinate, something different here than what they've been doing. It just hasn't quite worked for them in the last handful of minutes. Good step by Fetsic that time. Didn't come off, but she gets it back. Waldrop attacked by Heimerl. The ball comes up over the top. It's looking for Great on the outside. This finds Gilbertson. Turner says not that time. Good tackle that time by, attempted tackle that time by Seehafer. But now notice the Rosemount Irish with a lot of room in that midfield, Skip Newton, and a lot of room means room to create.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier about how it felt like Rosemount was giving Eagan too much room in the middle. Now we're starting to see that in the middle third the other way, where the Wildcats aren't defending quite as aggressively. I don't know if they're just getting a little more tired. It is, upper 70s, almost 80 degrees here, so it's a warmer day here at the end of the official summer season.
Ball finds its way into the penalty area, but is sent out by Turner. Falls for the Irish as Westerman battles. Westerman continues to battle. But again, no defense appreciably on McGill. Now Fetsic steps up, but the ball still finds its way to Heimerl, and we have a foul on the Irish. So that's 7 fouls, by my count, 7 fouls against the Irish. Or check it, or do we have an offside flag?
The Irish,
No, it wasn't off. It was a foul.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
Which is why I have no idea what happened there, because here we started with a drop ball to the goalkeeper.
Did it hit the center ref? That might have been what happened. I'm not sure.
Perhaps. The PA announcer said it was a foul. But in any event, we play. Wildcats into their last 30 seconds as Gilbertson goes backwards. And Wessel sends that switching the field. Tanner battling. The Wildcats need to find some quality here in the last 20 seconds. They certainly want to get into halftime and do a talk. Here's Westerman with an opportunity. Wildcats need to understand how much time's left. Playing catch in the midfield not necessarily going to help them too much with 10 seconds to go. This ball gets sent in, but Tanner wasn't making a run. And it finds its way out to fall, where we will go to halftime. Halftime here in Eagan, Minnesota, Wildcat Stadium. Score: Rosemount Irish, the defending state champion Rosemount Irish, 1. Your Eagan Wildcats 0. Kind of an uneven half for the Wildcats, Skip Newton.
Yeah, they started off playing really well. Felt like they were starting to lose a little bit of momentum kind of in the middle, third of that half, but still playing an even game. And then Rosemount got the goal from distance, and that goal coming in the 32nd minute, scored by Kendall Great, assist to Skylar Heimerall. And after that, it's been pretty much all Rosemount. Eagan has not generated much of an attack whatsoever.
Well, the Wildcats certainly have all their work to do. We're going to step aside here for halftime. We'll be back in about 9 minutes here on ETV, your home for high school sports.
Wow. I just finished previewing some of the films in this year's Eagan Art Block Short Film Festival. And let me tell you this might be our best year yet. I'm out of popcorn, so come with me. Tickets are on sale now on eagan-tv.com for the 2023 Eagan Art Block Short Film Festival, which takes place on Saturday, September 23rd, right here at the Imagine Theater in Eagan. With the popcorn, snacks, drinks, not to mention a Q&A with filmmakers, and a great selection of films, this festival is going to sell out fast. So get your tickets now on eagan-tv.com for the 2023 Eagan Art Block Short Film Festival, and be a part of one of Minnesota's fastest growing film festivals. And we'll see you at the movies.
Today we're doing the annual Cats vs. Cops, where we play a 7-on-7 game against the cops here in Eagan.
This was actually an idea a couple years ago of our police chief, Roger New. He said we should play a touch football game, and him and our former president, Jack Esser, made this happen.
Myself and another community member, Jack Esser, were thinking of ways to try to bring the community together, and he said, would you be interested in playing flag football against a high school team before the season kicked off? And I said, yeah, why not? And 3 years later, here we are.
Just an opportunity for us to get back to the community, get a chance to connect with our local police officers and the way they've been able to do stuff for the community for us. It's a chance for us to have some fun out there and play what we do on Friday nights with them.
One of the most important parts about this event is just trying to bring the community together. We never knew that it was going to grow to this extent, but we're glad that we could just be part of this event, and we just appreciate the community support.
Our police force is awesome, and for us to be able to do this with them, I think is just, it shows that they're looking for ways to be out in the community. So we come together and we play 7-on-7, and we have a blast out there. I love anything we can do to build that relationship.
They do so much for us, so it's a great way to give back to them, and it's a night for them to take off doing their duties as police officers and enjoy being a high schooler like we are and having some fun playing some football.
We're the Eagan Wildcats, but we're all Eagan. We're all one team. It's a great event and it's a lot of fun.
Do you know about Positively Eagan? It's a video series by ETV that highlights the good happening in our Eagan community. Stories of people reaching out, giving back, or shining a light on the people who make Eagan great. If you or someone you know has a story to share, we want to hear about it. and feature it in Positively Eagan. Visit cityofeagan.com/positively-eagan to submit your story and watch previous episodes.
A small area plan offers us a formal method to look at a particular area in detail. We're looking at not just the here and now, but we're looking at the past and the future, 20 or 40 years into the future. In this case, it's the area around Eagan Central Park. So the Unisys building, the former Delta building, and the former Argosy University building. Together, that comprises about 79 acres and over 731,000 square feet of office space. Because of the current state of the office market, we have high office vacancies in the Twin Cities and really across the nation. So likely what will happen here is that the sites will be redeveloped for different uses. The goals in creating the plan are to collect data, public input, and City Council direction, and use those to communicate the city's vision to potential site purchasers and developers. We've completed the first phase of public engagement. It included print and social media outreach, a digital survey, and 2 events at the Eagan Community Center. It even included an event with 132 4th and 5th graders at Pilot Knopp STEM Elementary School. This was such a fun event, and the first time we've done outreach at an elementary school for a planning project. We are beginning our second phase of community engagement. It will include an interactive survey that summarizes everything the planning team has learned, shares the concepts presented to the City Council, and collects community feedback. The planning team will be at Market Fest on July 19th and August 16th to answer questions and collect input. Over 500 people responded to the first digital survey. Feedback from in-person events seemed that people were excited to see the concepts and looking forward to participating in the second phase of public engagement. The concept plans are a visual representation of what we've learned about the site, the market, and community needs. The concept plans are not intended to be a choice between 3 distinct options, but an a la carte menu of possibilities. The concept plans are a visual tool to help us communicate site opportunities to the community. The final plan will most likely have elements of 2 or more concepts. Join us in shaping the future of the area around Eagan Central Park. Visit the city's website for more information.
Welcome back to second half action here on ETV, the campus of Eagan High School, Wildcats Stadium, and a great matchup right now between the Irish and the Wildcats. Irish from Rosemount High School winning 1-0 at the half. 40 new minutes on the clock. Referees heading out towards the center circle, and we'll have the Wildcats and Irish taking the field here momentarily. It was something of an Nathan Cron, joined by Skip Newton and an award-winning ETV cast and crew. Now, Skip, the first half, it looked like the Wildcats really might be on the front foot taking it to the Irish. Irish came back into the game a little bit, and then in the 32nd minute, were able to get a goal off the back of Valaga, off the crossbar, out the back of Valaga and into the net. Not the first time we've seen that here. Not the first time we've seen that here at Wildcat Stadium. But in this situation, the Wildcats find themselves down by 1-0, and looking at the halftime talk from Coach Q, what's he saying to those girls down there?
I think he's probably telling them that, girls, we need to pick it up a notch and we need to put the ball into the net. They had their chances and they're just not finishing. Rosemount had some chances too, but really their best chance, was from distance, and they capitalized on it. And I want to see Eagan do more of that, where if they get that ball, even if they're a good 5-10 yards outside the 18, if they're in the center and they've got a good angle and it's on their good, strong foot, put it on the net. They need to start challenging Norwich. So far, the times they have, Norwich's been up to the task, but I think she can be beat high. I think if they would finish the close chances they've had, put them into the corner and away from her, they could easily have a couple of goals already. So I want to see the intensity pick up here by Eagan. They need to pick it up a notch and get over the fact that while they started good, they did not finish well, and I think that goal at the 32nd minute was a bit of a backbreaker.
The Wildcats coming out with Tanner and Westerman on the field. Otherwise, the starting lineup unchanged for the Wildcats. That ball squirts by everybody. Again, Wildcats have got to possess the ball, protect it. I think that's going to be a blue throw. Weisendonner, Westerman to Leitenberg. Leitenberg's going to have to get on her horse. She does. I think that ball's going to be into touch, and a good opportunity. And we saw early in the first half, Leitenberg and Seehafer really having their way with the outside backs from Rosemount. And to be frank, it was a bit confusing why the Wildcats didn't go with that, but here's Great to the outside. She puts a left foot to it.
Taken by
and that goes
9.
well up and over everyone.
Great, out of bounds.
First shot on goal of the second half here goes to the Irish.
Nice job by Turner, forcing her to the outside, not allowing her to get a pass back. It was a 2-on-1 opportunity there for the Irish, but the only chance that she really had was to put that one on net, and I think Valaga knew that, so she could cut off the angle as well.
Ball finds its way out towards the midfield and goes into touch. Wildcats certainly, as we've said before, have got to start treating the ball and each scoring opportunity like a precious gem. Cannot afford to let them go to waste. They have to make to use the old vernacular, they have to make their punches tell. Enning getting freight trained there by a Rosemount player, and easy foul there for center referee Zacharias Ali.
Foul on the Irish.
We'll
Free
take
kick
that
for the
free
Wildcats.
kick and look for Seehafer. It's intercepted there. It does fall for Westerman. Now Waldrop, the midfield general for the Wildcats. She switches field out to Leitenberg. Nicely done, and Leitenberg hit straight offside.
Wildcats offside.
It's a really unfortunate outcome.
Indirect free kick, Rosemount.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating because Leitenberg's in a good position with her back to the touchline. She can see all the defenders. She can see her teammates with the ball. She can see everything. Just needs to be a little more aware of where she is on the field in relation to that last defender.
Attempt there by Zimmer to get by everybody, and she was in an offside position. Check it, the ball did go into touch. Assistant referee's signal was a bit muddled there from my perspective. Again, we're up in the press box. Irish win the second ball. Waldrop there, matched up Trying to let the Irish turn.
Great individual defense there by Kira Waldrop.
Falls for Heimerl. Heimerl's going to send that over for Great. Great around Enning. Great sends it towards net, and it's over everything.
Goal kick, Wildcats. Shot
new
taken.
soccer
Kendall
ball
Great,
put in,
number
and the
9, out of bounds.
Wildcat soccer program would like to thank their platinum sponsors: ARC Training Facility, the Eagan Football Boosters, Eagan Hockey Association, I Got Skills Soccer Training, Jordan Drilling, State Farm Nick DeFries, Triple Diamond, Urgency Room, Wave Soccer Club, and the Willie team from Edina Realty. Thank you to all of our platinum sponsors for supporting Wildcat soccer and making this a great community to be a part of. Waldrop with it again. Runs being made by girls in blue, but Waldrop's ball intercepted that time deftly by the defense there for the Irish. Irish just a step ahead of the Wildcats right now. And they maintain control. Of course, with a 1-0 lead, they're content to do a little bit of switching as Weisendonner battling there against Wessel. Falls for Westerman, but Westerman goes backwards instead of forwards, and this ball comes up over the top. Leitenberg's not going to, she's going to run this down. She's not going to get to it yet. Is Wimberly going to see that out? And she does for a goal kick.
Goal kick for the
Thought there was an opportunity there for the Wildcats. They had numbers up, and they had time in the middle of the field to deliver a ball over the top. Chose to play it back and then go towards the corner. The corners have been successful for them, all season long, so I don't blame that decision, but I think the earlier decision to attack sooner might have been the correct one.
Enning turns it over, gives it away to Gilbertson, and now Gilbertson will have a chance to attack. In tennis, they're called unforced errors, and sometimes the Wildcats are their own worst enemy as that ball's up over the top or through the defense, but Seehafer's going to have to run a marathon to get there. She might get there as she battles Wessel to the end. But again, that ball comes through, but nobody's making it. Seehafer has to run 15 yards just to get to the back line, and that's just asking too much of Josie Seehafer.
Yeah, there was too much space between her and the defender to give a through ball. That ball should have come short, and you need to get up closer to that last defender before you can make that play over the top.
Westerman down to the deck, but it falls for Leitenberg. Leitenberg 1-2s that with Weisendonner. Oh, great tackle that time by the Irish. It was Wimberly with a brilliant tackle. And the chance goes begging for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I thought that 1-2 was executed to perfection, but really just a fantastic job by Wimberly on defense.
Turner puts it into touch as she and Fall team up there to try to slow the counterattack from the Irish. Almost 7 minutes gone here in the second half. Score 1-0 to the Irish. Turn by Heimerl. Now it falls for Gilbertson. Gilbertson battling Turner. Turner sends it out towards the edge of the penalty area, but it doesn't get out. And McGill attempts a field goal that is wide right.
The shot, Chloe McGill, number 8, out of bounds.
Once again, you see Rosemount not afraid to fire shots from distance. That's at least their third shot this half alone from distance.
Yeah, 3 shots from distance. Wildcats have a goose egg for shots in this first half. When you find yourself down by a goal, that's not going to get it done. This ball gets played in as Valga puts her foot to it and sends it out. And Wildcats are going to need some individual efforts here by somebody to try to create some offense. Right now it's not happening. That ball magically stayed in for Enning. Enning finds Waldrop. Waldrop's attempted pass is deflected by the Irish, and it was a very heavy contact there between Addie Tanner and Ivy Wessel. Tanner lost the battle of physics there as she is wont to do given her relatively diminutive size. I'll remind everybody that the locked-in event for the Eagan dance team is coming up on September 29th, Friday from 5 to 8, an opportunity for kids to train with the Eagan dance team in the fall mini clinic. Registration is online. Get to perform during halftime at the EHS football game. It's a good time. Kids love it. So go ahead and look for that online. Now, all that being said, the Wildcats against Eastview earlier this week had looked a bit minus quality, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Seehafer struck to give the Wildcats a 1-0 victory. So maybe it's a situation where the Wildcats simply need to bide their time and set something up.
Looks to me like they're attempting these long balls from too far away. There's just too much space between the girl that's striking the ball and the back line of the Irish. This is something they weren't doing earlier.
The ball almost, you saw what Weisendonner was trying to do. That was a brilliant idea. It just did not come off for her. And Fall's going to have to recover here. She does. Nicely done by Isabella Fall. And she even wins the throw. Isabella Fall with some major quality there on the side. I think you're right, Skip. The long balls are just coming from too far out, and no one's making the run.
Well, and it's more than just no one's making the run. They're too far away to get it over the line. It's just going straight to the defense. They need to get up closer where they can either put a through ball on the ground, which we've seen Weisendonner attempt at least 3 times this half alone, or in a better position where they know they can clear the ball over the heads of the defense.
Opportunity for Westerman. Westerman's going to get the trip there. He's going to play advantage. Honestly, I think I would have rather had the free kick there, but Wildcats maintain possession. Tanner's going to get on her horse and head to the sideline and miss the ball completely. She was trying to send that back in and lost her balance.
Boy, that was an interesting non-call there. I don't know why the center ref thought that it would be better off to keep that going versus getting a free kick from a spot where you could honestly put a shot to goal.
Absolutely. I think if the Wildcats had that to do over again, they would say, no, we'll take a shot from 25 yards out, straight on to goal, thank you. But in any event, the Wildcats still shotless here in this half. As Valaga comes off and almost, she does give it to the Irish, but almost gets burned. That ball is a blue throw. Opportunity for Leitenberg. Quickly put in. Weisendonner again battling there. Jolstrom with it now. Now that ball's over the top. Tanner was making a run, but Jolstrom's ball just too heavy.
Seehafer was checking back to Jolstrom while Tanner was making the run, and just got miscommunication there between Jolstrom and Seehafer.
Well, alternatively, if one's checking and one's making the run, that actually, I would imagine, Skip, that could work. But you have to put the ball in the right place, right? It has to have the right weight on it. Otherwise the chance will be missed.
Yeah, the check back by Seehafer is going to draw the defense with her, and then opening up the space behind her.
Right. Here's Tanner with it. She finds Weisendonner. Weisendonner crosses in for Leitenberg. Leitenberg gets it on her left foot. She's got an opportunity, cannot keep it in. Unlucky that time for Ava Leitenberg. It was a good cross by Weisendonner with her left foot. More often than not, if Leitenberg's able to get that down to her foot with the first touch, the real opportunity is Westerman has to go over her head.
Yeah, it looked like Leitenberg was rushing it a bit, and maybe not aware she had as much space as she did. Jolstrom doing a really nice job stepping up and keeping the ball down here. She's done it a few times already.
And miscommunication there as Westerman put it behind her 2 forwards, but that center attacking midfielder has been pushed up to be equal next to Weisendonner, so it almost has the look of 4 at the front. Coach Q expecting and needing his players in the midfield to not be overrun as this ball gets sent over the top. Leitenberg
Nice job.
Fall.
Nice job there by Leitenberg to win possession and give a good pass back.
Fall finds Jolstrom. Jolstrom turns it over, and that ball finds touch. Needs to be more creativity. I think for the Wildcats, they need to do something that's going to create some opportunities for them here.
The positive is that the ball has been down in the Irish half more in the last 5-6 minutes than we've seen for quite a while. So things feel like they're turning in the right direction.
And just as we say that, we've got, looks like Jensen and Enning are going to be checking in.
Foul call on the Wildcats.
And we have a foul on the Wildcats. They did call a foul on Westerman there. Second foul of the half for the Wildcats as Gilbertson and Waldrop battle. Jolstrom will battle there in the middle. It falls for Leitenberg, who looks for Weisendonner, but Weisendonner wasn't moving at that point. The ball will find its way into touch, and we'll have substitutions. The aforementioned Jensen. Never mind, I was going to say we will have substitutions, but Jensen and Enning are still on the bench. Now I imagine they will be coming in.
Two substitutions.
This
for the
Eagan
Wildcats.
Wildcat throw-in sponsored by our gold sponsors, Ansari's Mediterranean Grill and Lounge, Birchwood Dental, Coldwell Banker, Rami Quarmont, Devani's Divine Salon, Dunn Brothers, Eagan Arms Public House, Eagan Family Dentistry, Escape With Us Vacations, Homestead Auto and Tire, Mark's Towing, Raising Cane's, Teresa's Mexican Restaurant, Wildcats Bar and Grill, Zerbal Orthodontics, and ZZQ Smokehouse. Thank you so much to our sponsors for making Wildcat Soccer the best program it can be.
Irish looking to break. It's 2-on-1. Someone's going to have to step over and help Isabella Fall as that ball comes up over the top. Ending with it, sends it out of Gilbertson's reach. And that's where the Irish are going to be dangerous as the Wildcats press for an equalizer. The Irish are going to be dangerous on the counterattack. Weisendonner steps to it. Enning, fresh off the bench. She goes down, but everyone's feet are just getting tangled according to the referee. Looked like the right call to me. That was not, however, as Heimerl fouls Turner. And the Wildcats will have a free kick. Again, would like to see the Wildcats play with a little bit of urgency here. The time is not, it's not at the end of the game, but every few seconds matters when you're down by a goal. Ball gets flicked on by Weisendonner. This falls for Jensen. Jensen has a rocket, but sends it wide. By my count, that is the first attempt, whether on goal or not, for the Wildcats in the first 17 minutes of the second half.
I'd like to see the Wildcats win this ball in the air off the goal kick and see if they can't keep the pressure on.
The goal kicks keep coming to the middle as Westerman in the middle, who has now been replaced by Enning, had run down several of them. Ball's going to find its way into touch. Wildcats will have an option. Again, I like to see them run with a little bit of, more than a little bit of urgency. There's the urgency from Enning. Getting quickly to that ball, trying to have things occur quickly as bringing Turner on makes sense, but now you have to get people in the box. If Turner's going to launch this towards the penalty spot, people have got to attack it. Turner. Enning. Weisendonner. Falls for Jensen. Leitenberg will try to get to it, and that ball will be played into, I think that's might make it to touch, won't make it to touch, does make it to touch. Wildcats will have to be aggressive here, try to create some turnovers as this ball finds its way into an empty patch of turf. And Anna Enning. Seehafer tries to turn with it, can't. So they have to reset. Enning comes up over the top looking for Weisendonner. Nice touch by Kylie Weisendonner, who sends it forward, that time for Jensen. Mal Jensen's got a runner in the middle. She has it now on her left foot. Weisendonner, she's got defenders closing down on her. She gets a left foot to it, puts it on net, and scores! Kylie Weisendonner! Redemption story complete! Weisendonner with a blast in the 57th minute, and the Wildcats equalize.
Just a great set of passing there by the Eagan Wildcats. That ball up to Weisendonner, you mentioned it, a brilliant touch to control that long ball, feathers it outside, then gets herself back in position and finally frees herself up for a good left-footed shot, and she buried it in the top of the net. We talked about being able to score high, and that exactly what has happened for the Wildcats and the Irish earlier. A huge goal for Eagan.
Well, it certainly creates the opportunity here for the Wildcats to go for all 3 points as Leitenberg gets a piece of that. And that ball will find its way into touch as Weisendonner and I believe it's Wessel battle for it there. Weisendonner with the goal. Assist to Mal Jensen.
In the 59th minute. The time of the goal is 58 minutes, 24 seconds.
Wildcats have to maintain their defensive integrity as this ball gets flipped into touch, but certainly now with their second shot, first shot on goal here in the second half, Skip Newton, Wildcats with everything to play for.
And they've really played much better, like we said, in the last 10 minutes, keeping the ball down in the Rosemount end. It reminds you of the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game, and they're getting back to that quality of play.
Weisendonner could not get much on that with her left foot. Bell's fall. Dispossessed that time by Heimerl, and she's going to have to rally. She does. Finds Enning. Heimerl was looking for Great. All the benches are staring, if you can see from the far side, all the benches looking into the sun as Jolstrom dispossesses an Irish player, and now Seehafer will go on a wander down the sidelines.
I like that decision there by Seehafer. She thought about making a pass, really didn't have anybody open, so she decided to just take on the defender one-on-one.
Jolstrom finds Enning. Enning's big touch lets her down. Shocked there was not a foul there. Waldrop, her big touch lets her down. That's 2 big touches by 2 players in the midfield that have been too far away from their bodies, and bad things have happened. Now Enning makes amends by coming back and making the good tackle. That ball comes up over the top. Jensen's going to make this run, but she's not going to get there as Seehafer was not moving.
Yeah, that is one of those passes that we've seen Waldrop successfully execute so many times, and just a perfect touch. Had Seehafer been making the run, she wasn't, so then it just went for naught. But I like both the direction and the pace of that pass. If Seehafer's making that run or another teammate's making that run, it was beautifully placed.
Goal kick comes out to the Wildcats as Seehafer tries to get ahead to it, falls for Jensen. Weisendonner. Weisendonner couldn't quite spin her body around. And while the ball was out of play, we had substitutions. Leah Zirkelbach checking in for the Wildcats. Big reminder that tomorrow night the Wildcats and the Irish play the other kind of football here at Wildcat Stadium. And that'll be broadcast here on ETV. A foul here against Fall. And the Irish have a free kick from about the midline. So don't forget to check us out at 7 o'clock tomorrow night as the Irish football team, American football team, if you want to say it that way, will come north on Highway 3 and take on the Wildcats. Wildcats, of course, with their last game, a 40-14 victory at Rochester Mayo. Irish, I believe, coming off a loss to Lakeville North in their last game. So 2 teams that definitely are going to want to see improvement as that ball finds its way to Valaga. Irish player looking for a call there and may have flopped a little bit. This ball comes through a couple of folks. Enning gets ahead to it. A couple of people get ahead to it. Now that ball will be sent into touch. Jensen's with it. She's got a good foot, but it comes in a little flat, but does find Weisendonner. And they will do it again. Here's Jensen. She's got all sorts of time. She goes almost to goal. And that was a crafty little shot by Jensen.
That was a blast by Jensen from distance. I mean, she was 30 yards out, plus the angle. So that was an incredible shot. I mean, obviously didn't get it on net, but she just decided, you know what, I've got the leg. I'm going to see what I can do. I don't mind that at all. If you've got the leg, and she was given all sorts of space.
Macy Bray checking in during the goal kick. Here's another opportunity for Jensen, who's feeling it a little bit. It's hard to tell from our perspective, Skip Newton, but I don't think Jensen's ball missed the net by too much, maybe a couple of feet, maybe 3 feet. As this ball is nicely down. Seehafer puts the moves on. But good defense rallying that time by the Irish. Look at Jensen. She's still got time. She turns it over to Gilbertson. If you're going to turn it over, you better get it back. And Mal Jensen does that. Jensen lays that off for Seehafer, who crosses that in. Interestingly enough, I thought that might be a handball. Referee, both the assistant referee and the referee, had a much better look at it and said, nope, caught all chest or stomach, I guess. Waldrop's going to go from distance, but she's not going to get much on that. It is a shot on net, but not overly troublesome to Norwick.
Boy, it feels like Eagan is just one step away several times of making a big play. Like, they are definitely putting the pressure on. And I'm going to ask you this because I noticed it earlier and I was blocked by the wall here. Was that a potential Norwick punting the ball from outside the box? Did she step out of the box?
It absolutely was. I was going to say the same thing, Skip Newton. Norwick was a good yard and a half, maybe yard two. By the time she released that ball, maybe almost 2 yards outside the 18. Look, referees will not call that and should not call that until they've given a warning to the keeper, in my opinion.
Really?
Well, yeah, I would say that. I would say that as a referee, I would always give, brilliant pass by Heimerl to the outside. Great on the outside. Sends it towards goal and really should have done better there. Great had a great opportunity. Good ball from Heimerl switching the field. Great was in by herself. Quick rallying defense by Fall that time, but the ball went over the top. No, I would say the referees, the assistant referees should warn the keeper before they make that call because sometimes, especially at younger ages, high school and below, you want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But once that warning's been done, absolutely there should be a whistle.
Number 7, Kendall Great, number 9.
Rosemount pressing here in the late stages of this half. Here's an opportunity for the Irish. Good tackle that time by Waldrop. Waldrop trying to get rid of that ball. Leitenberg comes back for it. She's going to battle with it. Nicely done. She's got to get her head up. Good turn by Enning. She needs to get a touch to it. Gilbertson and Enning will battle. And I suspect there's going to be a whistle at some point, except the Irish come away with that ball and will win the throw. Enning might get a whistle there.
She was pressuring her from behind, but didn't extend her arms, didn't push her so much as to commit the foul. It feels like the center ref, I believe you said his name was Ali, he's letting a few more things go now that he was calling earlier in the game.
Leitenberg on the outside. She's going to take that ball. She's offside again. And to your point, Skip Newton, she has her back to the touch line. She can see the back line of the defense. Really no excuse for her to be offside. But to be fair, that ball's going to be delivered quicker and with more pace. So many times somebody being offside is solved by a more pace and a quicker delivery as Bray battles with it. She finds Leitenberg. Leitenberg's got runners, but her right foot lets her down. Oh, it falls for Jensen, though. Jensen goes back to Fall. Fall fires it into an Irish boot, and that ball finds its way back. Very surprised there aren't more defenders. It's 3v3 back against in the attacking third for the Irish. It's a fairly high-risk way of doing things.
We've seen this before from Coach Q. He trusts his back line. He does not seem to force the effort by making sure that there are numbers up on his back line.
Waldrop with it. Big shot from distance. Bray with it. Bray hits the referee. Well, Bray, okay, that should have been a drop ball. Come on, ref, that really needs to be a drop ball. But in any event, and now we have an opportunity for the Irish going the other way. Zirkelbach using her speed. She gets back to it. Nicely done, Leah Zirkelbach, who will put that into touch. She had to get that right. The referee really should have blown that whistle, as it did not inure to the benefit of the Wildcats in any meaningful way.
Yeah, that would have been.
That should have been a
just
dead ball.
Awful if that would have resulted in a breakaway goal there.
Opportunity for the Wildcats. Missed. Here's a collision for Turner and Zimmer.
So in that case there, again, going to go with your referee experience. Turner steps up, plays the ball, and then there's a massive collision. Is that not a foul on the other team? Because Turner played the ball and made the play.
I suspect what the referee would say is he sees two players coming together. Turner took the ball, and he could have blown a whistle on the other team, but I suspect at that point it was just we're going to let this keep going. We're going to let play continue, especially since it seemed like the Wildcats, I think, we're going to get maybe the possession on the other side of it. Coming up on just under 11 and a half minutes to go here in the half. Score is 1-1. Weisendonner chips it ahead for Leitenberg. Leitenberg's going to win this race. Somebody has got to get in the box for Ava Leitenberg. Leitenberg crosses in. It does. Falls for Jensen. Jensen off of her thigh, and it goes out into touch.
Goal kick, Irish.
Opportunity there for Jensen. Could not get it down to where she could do something with it, although in fairness, maybe she should have just tried to walk that in towards goal.
Yeah, we've seen runs earlier where we thought a great run earlier by Seehafer where she centered the ball and no one was there. That was not the case this time for the Wildcats. There were 3-4 blue jerseys at least in that box area ready to score the potentially game-winning goal. So Eagan is putting the pressure on. They need to get this ball, back, defend this free kick, and continue to keep momentum down in the Rosemount half of the field.
Well, as challenged as the Wildcats were in the first half offensively and the first few minutes of the second half, Skip Newton, you get a sense the Eagan Wildcats have come back into this game. And certainly you would say that the match right now is, well, and as the scoreboard implies, a very even contest as Gilbertson is tripped, but advantage is played. It's the right call, I think. Gilbertson's saying, hey, why didn't you blow the whistle there? Center referee explained to her that I'm playing advantage.
Yeah, she got by the defender and was dribbling down the center of the field. I think in that case, and given where the fall was, I would rather have possession. I mean, she very well could have taken a few more steps and fired a shot.
Number 9, Kendall Great. The number 7,
well, it's a difficult concept, Skip Newton, is it not, for players as they're coming up through the youth ranks of club soccer and school soccer and things like that, because you're used to, understanding when you've been fouled, you stop because you're going to get a free kick. And what you don't always assume is that you're going to have that opportunity as Wimberly puts that into the penalty area for the Wildcats. It's bombed out that time by the Irish, and Leitenberg is going to commit a foul there. It's the 5th foul by the Wildcats here in this second half alone.
On the kick, number 3, Ava Thompson.
Ava Thompson, senior captain, is going to take this for the Irish. And that being said, we promised you, ladies and gentlemen, a good game, or we thought we would have a good game here tonight, and these two teams have not disappointed. A lovely turn there by Weisendonner. She's going to get possession of this. Look at her use that body.
Weisendonner has always been so good at shielding the ball off, maintaining possession despite being under pressure.
Weisendonner was kind of crowding Zirkelbach there. Zirkelbach wanted to switch the field. Let's see what the Wildcats do. Just under 8.5 minutes to go here in this second half as Turner just about cleaned someone's clock. Good that she didn't. This comes down for Gilbertson. Zirkelbach comes in and sends that out. Let's see if the Irish can clear this successfully, and they do, but it comes right to Zirkelbach. Zirkelbach for Waldrop. Waldrop. Wildcats. Seehafer to the inside. Seehafer around one defender. Now she's battling another defender. Can't get by the third defender as Martin took it away. And that time Turner is going to go through Heimerl, and that'll be another foul. The referee was pretty confident that that was going to draw a whistle.
Wildcats, a free kick for the Irish.
It was Jolstrom. Inga Jolstrom is going to check back in.
Get on the kick, Ava Thompson, number 3.
For the Wildcats at the next dead ball when they have an opportunity. Great on the far side, takes on Fall. Fall dispossesses her, nicely done. Fall's got room in front of her, but she slows down, and Great takes it away again. Battle for Bray. Bray puts that up, and now Jensen confidently coming across. Zirkelbach, imagine the Wildcats, instead of going back, would like to get forward here. Good step that time by Turner.
Feels like the intensity and the physicality from both sides, it's picking up. Ever since Eagan tied the game, Rosemount has started to play a little more aggressively, putting on the pressure, getting the ball down in the Eagan end. We hadn't seen that for a solid 10 minutes, but now it's definitely back and forth here for both teams wanting to get that second goal.
Zirkelbach dispossessed, but it comes back for Leitenberg. Battle there with several players. Two heads almost come together. Nicely done that they didn't. That's going to be off Weisendonner, unlucky for her. And Jolstrom is still over there. Okay, that's going to be a blue throw.
Substitution
Yeah,
for the
Jolstrom will be able to
Wildcats.
check in for
Back
Bray.
the game,
I
Eagan
thought that
Jolstrom,
was
number
off of
25.
Weisendonner as well, but
Going off, Macy
we'll take
Bray,
it.
number
A
11.
call by the center ref. It looked like the AR on this side was a little bit indecisive, perhaps masking his intentions.
King of the dad jokes. Skip Newton is. Jensen battles it there against Wemberley. Jensen comes out with it. She wants it on her right foot. She does. She finds Weisendonner. Looks for Edding. Edding and Weisendonner crisscross. Weisendonner lays that off for Jolstrom. Jolstrom will pop it up, and that's going to be high and wide. It's not even going to go out of play. Keep an eye on Norwood to see where she actually releases this ball. I'd like to see hopefully the assistant referee and the assistant referee have warned her.
Pressure the ball played inbounds.
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine on that one.
Boy, it sure looks like that foot stepping across the line a little bit, though.
Remember, the foot can come across the line. The ball cannot come across the line. So if the foot can come across the line, as long as she's not handling the ball across the line, right? Fall's going to battle there with Great. And what a great defensive play by Isabella Fall.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was a 3-on-2.
Wildcats cannot neglect their defensive responsibilities as that ball is sent by Seehafer out of play. We'll see if Coach Q makes any other substitutions here. Well, it looks like he might be sticking with the 11 he has on the pitch now. Ball gets over Zirkelbach and falls for Tuttle. Zirkelbach and Tuttle, former club teammates. Zirkelbach tries to switch that. Great must be out of gas because that ball was 5 yards closer to her than it was Seehafer. Seehafer, with 20 yards in front of her, still decides to send that up. It falls down into the defense. But look at Seehafer. Now switching sides. Looping around Waldrop, but she had so much space, Skip. I was surprised that she fired that ball in.
Yeah, it's almost like she made the decision before really realizing how much space she had in front of her.
Wildcats need to get to every loose ball. Here's an opportunity. As Turner's up, Jolstrom's back, having to cover for her, and Zirkelbach plays that back for Valaga. Some fatigue maybe kicking in for the Wildcats. Nicely done that time by Great on the far side, but we have an injury now. Timeout. Looks like it's going to be a cramp for Waldrop.
Clock has stopped. Injury on the field.
So we have an injury on the field. Waldrop will have to come off in the final 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Again, 1-1 is your score between these Irish and these Wildcats. Irish took the lead in the 32nd minute with a goal from Kendall Great. Yes, I got the right Great girl. I'm so bad with brothers and sisters. I call brothers and sisters the wrong names doing this job all the time. But
I almost refer to her as Ava myself.
Yeah. Kendall Great with an assist from Skylar Heimerl. Wildcats equalized as Kylie Weisendonner hammered home a ball from Mal Jensen in the 57th minute. Opportunity for both teams to get a drink of water, really to the benefit, I think, of, well, to be honest with you, benefit probably of both teams to get a drink of water, reset their defense, reset their offense, figure out what they want to do. Now, Waldrop, of course, has to come off the pitch. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Q does to to put more midfield presence on.
Should be a throw-in, I believe, back in front of the Irish bench. For those of you wondering where the
restart's
going to be. Yeah, exactly.
Substitution, Emma Fetzich, number 22.
Fetzich will take over for Waldrop.
23.
Imagine Waldrop, if she can go, they'll want her back on the pitch after a quick drink of water. Maybe not. We'll see. Jensen. Weisendonner. Weisendonner just could not get by 2 defenders. This ball comes up over the top. Finds Turner. Back for Valga, who finds Jolstrom. Jolstrom's got 10 yards of space in front of her. Now they start to close down. Now the ball's up and over. Leitenberg's onside. She has a left-footed shot, and she scores! Ava Leitenberg from Inga Jolstrom. A brilliant strike. And a 2-1 lead to the Wildcats.
Just an awesome ball delivered by Jolstrom there. A perfectly placed ball. Leitenberg did a fantastic job of settling that and finally just finished. Didn't have to blast it, but put enough strength on it in the right spot. A huge goal. Eagan coming from behind to take a 2-1 lead here, and we have less than 3 to play.
Now the Irish are even more dangerous. They were desperate before to try to win the game. Now they're even more desperate, as the Wildcats have now switched to 4 at the back.
Number 8, Ava
Leitenberg has dropped into a center back role.
Assist, number 25, Inga Jolstrom.
Fetzich gets trucked to the turf. That was in the back. I'm not sure why Heimer wasn't blowing a whistle there. That ball gets sent in towards Valga. She tips at it and then picks it up. She's going to burn as much time as she can, but we had critiqued, I think it's fair to say, Leitenberg a couple of times for straying into an offside position. That time, she got it right.
Perfect. She absolutely put herself in a perfect position. She timed her run perfectly. She settled the ball brilliantly and then finished perfectly. It was just a great play all around there. I think we need to look down the stands at the fans here after that kick play there by Valga and net. It made a few people a little nervous that she didn't just use her hands and play that clean.
Wildcats still have the work to do. Now with 1 minute and 46 seconds left to go in the game. Score 2-1 to the Wildcats. Every ball, just like in hockey, when you're protecting a lead against a good team, every puck has to get out of the zone. Every ball has to be cleared with authority. Zirkelbach dispossessed there. Opportunity for the Irish. Ball comes back in off of Fetzich's head and chipped forward. Zirkelbach sends it to the middle of the field. Irish up pressing, no question about that. Now Jensen's going to have an opportunity. Imagine Jensen's going to possess this. She sends it forward for Seehafer. Seehafer's on a run. Norwick had to stay in her net. Seehafer crosses negative. And no one's going to get to that, I should say, except maybe Olivia Enning, and there's going to be a corner for the Wildcats.
That's a great play by the Wildcats there. Passing it down deep, bringing it back negative like you said, and then firing that shot, earning the corner kick.
Substitution for, unlucky here that there was a substitution because that clock would be running the whole time as the Wildcats set up for the corner. Instead, it's going to start when Jensen puts her foot to it as Weisendonner is withdrawn and Tanner takes the field. I would imagine they will stand on it here in the corner.
Now, as soon as they saw that was going to be a corner kick, can the girl that's standing at the scores table walk away and say, "Don't put me in"? Is that allowed?
I imagine so. We have another corner here for the Wildcats. Not sure why the referee's stopping the clock, given that it was Rosemount, I believe, that pushed the ball over, and Tanner's going to stand on that one. 2 Wildcats going to burn time down there. Nicely done. Wildcats have to jump on this. Enning tries to go through a defender. Oh, Fetzich gets body checked just outside the penalty area by Gilbertson. And another throw here for the Wildcats. And we'll have a stoppage of the clock while Gilbertson is tended to.
Injury on the field.
Gilbertson took a big piece of Emma Fetzich there. But Skip Newton, assuming nothing goes crazy here after the Wildcat throw with 19 seconds to go, how big is this victory for the Wildcats, both not just in terms of the standings for the section and conference, but psychologically?
You know, I was already thinking about it when they had tied the game 1-1. I was thinking, all right, they went through a middle stretch where they weren't playing well, but then all of a sudden they played themselves back into the game. It wasn't some lucky break. It wasn't, a random breakaway or anything weird. They were controlling play for over 5 minutes or so before they finally got that game-tying goal. And I was ready to say, you know what? A 1-1 tie, if they don't walk off the field feeling that they can play with the Rosemount Irish, then they're not paying enough attention. Now it's, hey, we played well with them. They played some better. We played some better. But ultimately, we came out on top. We know we can play with Rosemount. We've ended the losing streak. We've gotten that off our backs. This is a huge win for Eagan.
Ball gets sent in by Jensen that time. It falls now for Enning. Enning sends that towards Norwick, and Norwick scrambles to get it. 5 seconds left as Norwick puts a foot to it, desperately trying to get it down the field. Seehafer wrangles the ball, and the Wildcats, the Eagan Wildcats, have defeated the defending state champion Rosemount Irish 2-1 here on ETV. Thanks to our team here at ETV, Josh Sibley, Jared Greenberg, Tim Shinyan, and Greg Borman for this great coverage, making Skip and I sound good. And Skip, watching this opportunity here for the Wildcats, this is their second big comeback here in Wildcat Stadium this season. It shows some real fighting spirit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and it's a character builder and it's a confidence builder. This is how teams start to develop that confidence when they take the pitch, knowing, you know what, we can play with the top teams in the state and we can play well. And they've rebounded nicely from a disappointing loss last Saturday. They came down, beat Eastview on Tuesday, win today, for the first time in 3 years against Rosemount. They're setting themselves up for success down the road, 3-0 in the conference, back-to-back wins against section rivals.
Eagan girls, and they have taken advantage of it. Don't go anywhere, folks. In about 20 minutes, we will have the boys' game between the Rosemount Irish and the Eagan Wildcats. I am Nathan Cron from my broadcast partner Skip Newton and our award-winning ETV crew. Thanks for joining us here. Final score, Rosemount Irish 1, Eagan Wildcats 2. So long, everybody.